Welcome to On the Prowl, Long Road Trip for the Panthers, episode 17. I'm your host, Bill. Good day, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day today. Panthers have been playing well as of late, but they have a long road trip ahead. Now, in terms of length of the road trip, this is actually be the second longest road trip of the season. The first longest road trip of the season, we're going to go ahead and put this graphic up here, happens in March, and let's go ahead and share that here. Now, the longest road trip of the season for the Panthers will run from March 11th to March 22nd when they visit Boston, Toronto, Montreal, New York Islanders, Columbus Blue Jackets, and Washington Capitals. So that doesn't happen until March, but that's interesting that it happens very late in the season for them. That's right almost at the end of the season. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at who they will be playing on this road trip and also look at their current standings, where they're at, and how the Panthers will match up with each one of these teams. Now, here's a look at the schedule here, just to let you know. Of course, they beat the Sharks yesterday 3-1, and the games they have coming up are this Tuesday, the 10th, against the Seattle Kraken at 10 o'clock Eastern. That's going to be on Scripps. On Thursday, December 12th, against the Vancouver Canucks at 10 o'clock, and that'll again be on Scripps. Saturday, December 14th at 10 o'clock against Calgary, and again, that will be on Scripps. On Monday, the 16th versus the Edmonton Oilers, that will be on NHL Network and on Scripps. And again, on the 18th against the Minnesota Wild, that game will be on TNT, just so you can take a note of that. The Panthers do return home finally on December the 20th. That will be their next home game. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how they match up against the Seattle Kraken. We all know who the hottest player in the NHL is right now, Matthew Tkachuk. And you can see right now, the last 5 games, 14 points, 5 goals, 9 assists. Now, for the Kraken, it's Oliver Bjorkstrand has 7 points, 3 goals, and Marty Beniers has to take a look at goaltending here for the regular season. Of course, we know Sergei Bobrovsky just came in and played an outstanding game last night against the Sharks and got the win. He's 12-5-1, and Spencer Knight is 5-4-1. The save percentage is .894 for Bobrovsky and .890 for Spencer Knight. Of course, we'd like to see that kind of jump up there. Now, the goalies for the Kraken are Joey Daccord. He's 12-6-1. He has a 2.50 goals against average, and he has a .913 save percentage. Their backup is Philip Grubauer. He's 2-8-0. He has a 3.71 goals against average, and his save percentage is .870. Now, let's take a look and see who is leading scoring for the Kraken right now. McCann, who the Kraken did get in the expansion draft from the Penguins, he has 10 goals. Bjorkstrand has 9. Tolvanen has 8. Tanev has 7. Schwartz was 7. Wright was 7. And then there's Everly with 6. Now, when you go to defensemen, of course, here's our good friend, Mr. Montour. He has 7 goals. And it drops off sharply to Dunn with 3 goals right there. And again, you can take a look here and see their records as I talk to you about their goaltenders. Daccord being the one who has been the starting goalie and Grubauer being the backup. So also, too, the Kraken have a new coach this year, and you probably recognize his name. He's no stranger to me, being that I knew him back in his Penguin days. It's Dan Bylsma. He coached their AHL team, and he did a great job with that. And Dave Hextall was fired from the Kraken after last season, and he was replaced with Dan Bylsma. Bylsma has also hired the first female assistant coach in the NHL, which is excellent. So, they're going to have their hands full with the Kraken. They're not an easy team to push over. Again, this is the start of the season series. This game here on December the 10th. They will be back in Florida on February the 22nd. So they haven't played each other yet. The Kraken right now are 14-14-1. There's no easy game for the Panthers because everybody's gunning for them because they are Stanley Cup champions. So they're going to have their hands full. And again, this will be at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night that they'll be taking on the Kraken. Now let's go ahead and take a look at their next matchup against Vancouver. And okay, the players to watch. And again, we'll focus on the players for the opposing teams because I've already gone over who the players to watch for the Panthers are. Quinn Hughes has 11 points in the last 5 games. Jake DeBrusk has 6 goals, and Quinn Hughes has 9 assists for them. Now, their goaltenders, Lankinen is 13-3-3 this season, and Demko, who backs him up, has not played a game yet this year. In terms of goals, DeBrusk is leading the team with 12. Sutter has 11. Garland has 8. Bozer was 6. Pedersen was 7. Sherwood was 7. Teddy Bluger with 4. And then you can take a look here at Quinn Hughes. He has 6 is in terms of goals as far as the defensemen are concerned, and it drops off from there. So Lankinen's record again, he's 13-3. He has a .908 save percent average. His goals against is 2.62. And in the season series, Vancouver beat the Panthers 3-2. And again, that was early on in October back at Sunrise, and this will be the second game in that series. So hopefully the Panthers can come back and do well. Take a look here at some of the team stats. Of course, you know how well the Panthers are doing on the power play. They're right now 28%. They're 4th in the league. Vancouver is 10th. Penalty kill, the Panthers are 10th in the league. Vancouver is 9th. Face-off percentage, the Panthers are 28th, and the Vancouver Canucks are 19th. For goals for, 3.75 for the Panthers, 3.32 for the Canucks, 3.25 for goals against for the Panthers, 3.12 for the Canucks. So that's where things stand. And again, these matchups are going to be, these are going to be games that are really going to test them because, again, this is a long road trip. It's the second longest road trip of the season, and it's out on the West Coast. And there's always an adjustment in terms of time, even for players, even though they've done this year in and year out. Training and conditioning will really help to pay off in the long run here. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game here. And that next game is against Calgary. And let's see where Calgary is right now. Nazem Kadri is at 4 points over the last 5 games. Kadri also has 2 goals in the last 5 games. And Mackenzie Weegar has 3 assists in the last 5 games. Goaltending for them, Vladar is 5-5-4 with a 2.74 goals against average and a 9.900 save percentage. He has 2 shutouts. Dustin Wolf is 8-4-1 with a 2.59 goals against average, and he has a save percentage of .918 with 1 shutout here. Now, in terms of goal scoring, Huberdeau leads them with 8. Kadri has 8. Caranto has 7, and that drops off from there. In terms of defensemen with goal scoring, Anderson leads with 6, and Weegar has 4. And again, well, I've already gone over the goaltending records here. Calgary's also going to give them, and the Panthers get to visit their old friend Ryan Lomberg, who plays now for the Flames. So, and again, these games are not going to be easy because they're gunning for them. Let's take a look at here also at team stats. We'll look at where Calgary's at. They are 14th on the power play. They are 30th in the penalty kill. They are 29th in terms of faceoff percentage. They are 27th in terms of goals for, and they are 8th in terms of goals against. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Now, the next game is going to go ahead and be against the Edmonton Oilers, and we all know about Edmonton. We're very familiar with them, considering we played them in the Stanley Cup Finals. Connor McDavid has 9 points in the last 5 games. Leon Draisaitl has 3 goals in the last 5 games, and Connor McDavid has 7 assists in the last 5 games. Take a look at their goaltending. Skinner is 9-7-2 with a 2.92 goals against average, a save percentage .892 with 1 shutout. Calvin Pickard, who backs him up, is 6-3-0 with a 2.56 goals against average, a .892 save percentage, and he has 0 shutouts. Draisaitl's leading the team with 19 goals. McDavid is at 13 goals. Hyman is at 6. Skinner is at 5. Perry is at 5. Let's go to defensemen here. Bouchard is at 6, and Kulak is at 5. Let's also take a look at the team stats. Edmonton is 17th on the power play at 20.6%. They are 24th on the penalty kill at 72%. They are second in terms of faceoff percentage at 54.5%. They are 16th in terms of goals for at 3.04, and they are 10th in terms of goals against at 2.93. This will be a real battle. This is the first matchup. that the Panthers will have with them this season. The rematch will be down at Sunrise, and that will be on February the 27th. Yours truly will be there for that game. We're really looking forward to that. That's going to be a very good contest. Edmonton's every bit as good as they were last year. There's no reason to think that they're not going to make a deep playoff run. They're 15-10-2, but don't let that record deceive you. They had their record was not good early on in the season last year, and they came on like a house of fire. So, there are a lot of people are picking them to win the West and to go to the finals again. So we'll see where it's at. That's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a game where Panthers are going to need to play Panther hockey from the start to finish to end up with a W in that game. No questions asked. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Now, the next game here is against the Minnesota Wild, and the Panthers have already played the Wild, and they lost down in Sunrise 5-1. That was early on in October, and that was a dominant game for the Wild. They just, from start to finish, Panthers weren't even in that game. It was very. The score did not indicate how lopsided the play was. It was really one-sided in that game. But let's take a look and see where things are for the Wild right now. Kaprizov has 7 points in the last 5 games. He has 3 goals in the last 5 games, and he has 4 assists in the last 5 games. Now, their goaltending pair is Gustavsson. He's at 13-4-3 with a 1.99 goals against average. Yep, you read that right. And a .931 save percentage with 2 shutouts. And, of course, Marc-Andre Fleury, one of my favorite NHL players, he's at 5-1-1 with a 2.56 goals against average and a .910 save percentage with no shutouts. Taking a look and seeing where they are in terms of goal scoring, Kaprizov is with 17, Boldy is with 12, Rossi is with 9, and Zuccarello is with 6. In terms of defenseman scoring, Middleton is with 5, Faber with 3, and Spurgeon with 12. And again, I already went over the records for Gustavsson and Fleury. Let's take a look and see where the team stats are. Minnesota is 19th in terms of the power play. They are 20th in terms of the penalty kill. They are 22nd in terms of face-off percentage. They are 13th in terms of goals for, and they are first in goals against average. So this tells you that this will be a very tight game. They do not give up a lot of goals in terms of having just an outstanding starting goaltender with Gustavsson, and he has a great record this year and a great goals against average, and they're very stingy. So getting goals against them is a very difficult task. And again, for the Panthers to have success, they need to start right away with aggressive forward checking in the zone, get on pucks quickly, get out of their zone quickly, and keep that up for 60 minutes. These games on this West Coast road trip, don't look at the records of the teams. These are going to be hard games because everybody's going to be gunning for the Panthers. They're going to need to come out swinging on this. That's for sure. Now, after the game against the Wild, the Panthers are back at home on December the 20th against the St. Louis Blues. I firmly believe that teams that do a lot of physical conditioning and training, not only does it enable them to play, to play at peak performance, but I think it also helps prevent injuries in a lot of the cases. Now, one of the items of note, I ran a survey out on X regarding, what people think is the most pressing problem for the Panthers right now, defense or goaltending, and defense was the number one answer. And of course, right now you're seeing players like Ekblad and Forsling playing an insane amount of minutes per game. And Paul has acknowledged that, but you can tell, it can wear on them in a game. And if you see some lapses in play from either Forsling or from Ekblad, it's because, they're logging some incredible, insane minutes per game. And of course, until the defensive situation gets better, that's to be expected. Now, don't expect anything right now because of the salary cap in terms of Bill Zito making a move. We don't really foresee anything about this. I know when we talked with TJ from Panthers Paris, that really they're not going to approach anything until the March trading deadline because other teams will be selling at that point in time. And let's see what happens at that point in time. But I think, and I agree with him, that the Panthers are going to need to make a move defensively and pick somebody up to shore this defense up. Forsling and, Ekblad are fantastic defensemen. They do a great job, but, you can't burn them out too much. And I think Paul is aware of that, and he's trying to do his level best with that. And I think that's where you're seeing your lapses in terms of defense. In terms of goaltending, that's a whole nother episode. But I think as the season goes on, I think you'll see Sergei Bobrovsky will be getting better. The more work he does, the more games he plays, the better he gets. And I think that's one of the things that has really ramped up. Also, too, as of late, Matthew Tkachuk has been the hottest player in the NHL. He is just absolutely on fire. And when he's on fire, he really has a tendency to carry this team. And he's doing it at such an incredible pace. Let's hope that no one turns that off switch for Matthew Tkachuk anytime soon. So that's what we got coming up this week. It's going to be a lot of late nights watching the Panthers. So, either put on your pot of coffee or get out your Coca-Cola and be ready to watch them. Most of the games, I said, will be on Scripps at 10 p.m. Eastern time. The one game, I think, against Minnesota is going to be on TNT, but you'll be able to watch most of the other games on Scripps Sports as well. And remember that they do return home December 20th against the St. Louis Blues. As always, guys, it's a great day for Florida Panthers hockey. Time to hunt.